light signs? I see none. I'm going to respond. This is just absolutely ridiculous, Councilor Beatty. Your attempt is, a sad and frustrated one, based on nothing but politics of personal destruction. Everything that this community stands against, the dozen or half, three-quarters of a dozen citizens who came up at our last meeting and specifically called out individuals, not only on this council, but others, for a witch hunt. And that's exactly what this motion, original motion, is rooted in. A desire to achieve through bullying and innuendo what you and others have been unable to achieve otherwise, either through the ballot box or in overall community support on a variety of issues. And it's really, really sad that you would do that. And frankly, the motion is frivolous. Whether it's the motion was about me or about another counselor, I feel it would be frivolous regardless. And I would rule that on anybody. And that's why I did it at the last meeting, and that's why I did it here tonight. To prevent the negativity and really just the disturbing level of, I think, underlying hate that some operate under. And it's a sad state of affairs. I've been a good chair in terms of allowing communication, not only from the public, but on the dais. I've had a even hand, I believe, on virtually every matter, because there hasn't really been any other articulation otherwise. And when I've been, referred in a different manner to something I missed or a different point, I've responded respectfully and efficiently and fairly, and changed course of action in order to facilitate further discussion or to let individuals communicate beyond their allotted times in the rules of procedure, as well as even double back and comment after me, even though as chair I have the right to end that conversation at that point. So, your effort here is it's certainly not hidden. It's clear. The public rejects it. You saw them here at the last meeting. You've seen the negative yellow journalism that's been out in the community that has called for a variety of ridiculous things that have resulted in almost dead silence from the community to the council. There are individuals who have clear agendas that I think many people recognize and acknowledge here in the community, and they have a right to it, of course. Those people have a right to do any number of things. If they file an ethics complaint, if they file a bar complaint, this is addressed at the last meeting. They're frivolous. There would be frivolous complaints, and they'd be responsible for the consequences of filing a frivolous complaint, whether it was paying for attorney's fees or many people have, frankly, gone beyond that. And really, if they're not there, they're very, very close to defamation, okay, which is the publishing of a false statement with actual malice or a reckless disregard for the truth. You seizing on that opportunity is unfortunate, but that's the reality that we exist in.
Do I get to respond to your
No,
filibuster?
sir. No, sir.
Do I get to respond to your filibuster?
I guess it's only a filibuster when I'm responding to your motions, but I've answered questions at the last meeting. I answered questions in interviews. I've answered questions in a variety of other areas. I have the support and the strong support, in fact, from so many in the community that individuals claim to represent in their smear campaign. You had individuals get up here at the last meeting, outright lie, and they were even called out by some members of our press when they looked into it. and found out that these, so, if that's, the direction that the council wants to go in, we had this conversation about the city manager situation earlier. I said that this council, regardless of our differences of opinion, would come together on an issue when there's a clear benefit to the community. And I think on this issue as well, in front of us right now, is the same situation. The council can reject this motion, whether they reject the determination of frivolous or not, but ultimately to reject your motion, sir. And we can come together and move on and continue doing the right thing for the community.
Very disrespectful, Jared. Very disrespectful.
Would you please call the roll?
Could you please restate the motion?
Well, the motion is to overturn the,
If I can just comment to what the motion is, a majority, shall the decision of the chair be sustained? So a majority vote will sustain the ruling of the chair.
and the ruling of the chair was that the original motion was frivolous. Okay. Would you please call the roll?
Counselor Reed?
No.
Counselor Brown?
No.
Counselor Honick?
Yes.
Counselor Rios?
Yes.
Counselor Beatty?
No.
Vice Chair Roman?
No.
Chair Grifoni?
Yes. Okay, so the ruling of the chair is overturned, and now there's Counselor Beatty's original motion with the second by Counselor Brown. Is there any further discussion from council on that? Counselor Reed?
Again, my heart is broken. I was not going to vote for a vote of no confidence till the last several minutes. It is crystal clear to me that the position of chair is now being used to defend the position of chair. So I support a vote of no confidence simply because the position of chair is powerful. It allows the chair to shut people down. It allows the chair to speak last and have the last word. It's powerful, and it's being abused. It was just abused here tonight. It was abused at the last meeting. A vote of no confidence is not going to change that, but hopefully it will send the message that the position of chair must not be abused to defend the position of chair. Thank you.
Counselor Rios?
I'm going back to the same point. A vote of no confidence, all it's going to do, have no impact other than divide us even further. Okay, and I don't see, can you not see that? And we're talking about unifying the city and unifying us and removing this so-called black cloud, and we are adding clouds to the cloud, okay? So what dividing ourselves even further? It's crazy. You say your heart is broken, mine is broken too, but in a different manner. I don't know why you're having this conversation to begin with. Thank you.
Counselor Honick?
Yeah, just a minor point to defend your behavior at the end that Councilor Reed was critical of you. I mean, we can't have it both ways. The way we work is that the chairman reserves the right to speak last. It's a bit of a burden. I enjoyed jumping in when I feel like jumping in, and when I was chairman, I didn't do that and couldn't do that, and spoke last. And so in the motion that we just heard, the chairman spoke last, and then Councilor Beatty wanted to jump in and be last.
So it was attacked.
You weren't attacked. He was presenting
The decision's hateful, Gary. Larry?
I'm Larry.
Larry.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I should have known better.
Look, we all have different ways of speaking, and I understand the weaknesses in much of the way I talk. I tend to be very aggressive, and I use words improperly often, and don't mean it that way. But we should just recognize that about each other and move on.
Vice Chair Roman?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. I think the difficulty for me, and this is very, very difficult, is, we might as well adjourn our meetings for the rest of the summer, like the advisory committees at this point. If we can't find a way to actually, move forward in a way that is respectful and in a way that the citizens trust and have confidence in, we might as well just take a break. Because anything we do is being viewed by many of the citizens, and I know there are political sides to every issue, but there are a lot of upstanding citizens, community leaders that are very, very troubled by some of the actions by select city councilors. And I've got to tell you that we aren't moving forward if this continues like this. We'll just continue to be the Wild West here on Marco Island, and eventually it'll get so out of control, property values will plummet, we won't have the community we all moved here to be a part of, and we've got to find a way forward. And it's very disturbing to me that folks feel that they can kind of go on with business as usual when the whole community talks about this day in and day out. And we're preoccupied with it, as it should be. The citizens have a right to know. Thank you.
Thank you. No other light signs. Again, now to the actual motion here. Councilor Roman, Vice Chair Roman is correct in a lot of what she states. Moving forward positively, which is everything that I've attempted to do over the last two meetings, in spite of a wave of some to create a circus out of the meetings. I've done everything I could to keep the meetings running smoothly, to listen to the public, to recognize the public when called for, to recognize counselors when called for. And I think something that really needs to be highlighted here is disagreement with the rulings of the chair does not equal abuse. You just disagree with a ruling of the chair, and you have every right to appeal the ruling of the chair, as you did tonight, Councilor Reed. And no counselors have done that and did that at the last meeting. No counselors have done that. I mean, maybe, I don't even remember if it's ever happened since I've been chair, maybe once or twice. And they've been over minor issues that simply were a mistake or a different reading of the rules, and they were handled appropriately. Every counselor, since I've been chair, has been given the opportunity to speak on any issue a number of times. Tried to handle that quite fairly and evenly, even when there's been counselors who don't want to listen or think other counselors are going on too long, or if they'd, going off in different directions, not directly related to the point. So I've been a very fair chairman. I've represented the city in so many different ways, events in the community, in front of other boards, continue to do that. And what you're trying potentially to do here is continue down a very negative road for really no benefit whatsoever. There are other ways that have been mentioned that, hey, could certainly help the council and certainly would make a lot of sense. But this is nothing but wrong. It's wrong. It's not right. And remember, as I think Councilor Honig mentioned, and the city attorney has mentioned before, the members of the staff of the council who were involved in the situation handled it properly. And again, because you disagree with that interpretation, then of course that is your right. But this is a sledgehammer to accomplish nothing. To kill a mosquito or something like that. It's just it's overkill, and I really truly believe that there's a underlying motivation. But that is my opinion, of course, and not necessarily those of others. But it's rooted in a recreating of a narrative that's not based in fact. It's as I discussed last time at the last meeting, and Councilor Reed, you were quite satisfied at the time, at least with some of the response that was given by Councilor Honig and Councilor myself in response to members of the community about the situation. And again, it's, people trying to step in other people's shoes who either can't speak, won't speak, or, for whatever reason. But again, the facts are the facts. What's out there is out there, and nothing, absolutely nothing, was done that was inappropriate or against the city attorney's wishes. Everything, as soon as this thing was discovered, it was referred to the city attorney's office. And who should I refer it to? The city manager, the one who is the alleged perpetrator of the situation? To staff who I can't communicate with or tell them what to do? Absolutely not. Everything was handled the way it was supposed to be handled, and it was a very difficult situation for everybody involved. And most importantly, certain individuals, and I'm not going to sit here and be bullied into putting words into other people's mouths or to betray confidences or anything like that. But I can tell you that I think the community as a whole understands. They have been here, they have commented on it, and they've commented to me on it and others, and I just think this is entirely inappropriate, and I encourage you to vote it down and allow the council to move on in a more positive fashion and address other issues, even issues related to this, that can be handled in a much more effective and positive manner. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Can I get a clarification, please?
Sure.
The motion on the table is,
To a motion of no confidence in me as chair. So a yes vote would be no confidence in.
okay, that's what I wanted to, so a yes vote is no confidence, okay.
Correct.
That's what I was trying to clarify. Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Beatty?
Yes.
Counselor Brown?
Yes.
Counselor Rios?
No.
Counselor Honig?
No.
Vice Chair Roman?
Yes,
Counselor Reed?
Yes.
Chair Grifoni?
No. Motion carries 4-3.
Hope you learned a lesson.
Counselor Honig.